Yes, yes, we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? You are here on Last Take, a shot in the dark. I am your host, Mr. Kevlar. Treat 'em swell. Join with me. Hey, hey, there it is. As always, Mr. Skip and Skip's trophies and more. Hand claps, no hand there. They are. Damn. All right, and beside him, as always, Mr. Diamond Dirty D. Fellas, what is going on?
Man, I know we got some interesting things to cover about this NBA weekend, but
Mhm.
I was disappointed. Um, we're gonna talk about it, so I'm not gonna jump right into it. But it was just to me, it was like it wasn't even a pickup game. Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant made a statement, and we're gonna refer back to this statement. I'm gonna say it now. Back when he was watching the game growing up, the All-Star game was a compilation of all the best players in the league. And what better game to see than the best going at each other back to back and fighting and grabbing? He said in the off season, when we all go to UCLA and USC and play with the teams or whatever, we play harder against them college guys than we do for the world to see. And ain't nobody in the gym watching us then. We go to the D leagues and everything. I mean, not to the D league, but to the Rucker and all those places and show the fuck out with people trying to hurt us, but we can't do it when people pay to see us do it. We're gonna get into it, but I just wanted to say that.
Dirty D, talk to me.
Same thing, man. We this weekend as we wind down from last week's Super Bowl and now we transitioning into basketball, the back end of the basketball season when the All-Star game hits, and the state of the NBA because that's what we finna get into. And get ready to transition. Spring training starting for baseball also about to
Mhm.
ramp up. But yeah, man, this state of the NBA, they go from the All-Star game to its trades. You think hurting the NBA and how the players are able to move and some of what some of the teams did All-Star before All-Star weekend and so forth.
There you go, there you go. Well, hey, fellas, before we jump into that, we're going to hear from our friends over at Two Fresh Transportation.
Are you and your friends or family looking to have a good time? Come experience Two Fresh Transportation. They offer multiple luxurious vehicles to choose from that are super clean and COVID sanitized. With all vehicles having a wide range of seating space, a custom bar with a hookah, and an Apple and Google TV, a PlayStation 5, a removable dance pole, and a custom stereo. So remember, next time you book a ride, book Two Fresh, because Two Fresh is above the rest.
There you go. Well, hey, yeah, y'all already touched on it, but let's go ahead and jump right into this all-star game right here, man. We kind of said the same thing with the NFL. I remember about, this time last year, maybe a little bit before, and we were just saying, it's gotten away from what it used to be. It's just kind of folks going out there and doing their thing. And the biggest complaint that I heard from this NBA All-Star game was it just wasn't any defense. They was trying to score 200 points.
Yeah, I think last year they did, didn't they? Did they score 200 last year?
They came close to it.
If not, they
They
was in
came
the
close.
190s. They was
Yeah, I
up
think it was
there,
like 196 or something.
right? But I get from the player's point of view, I kind of understand it. We want what they assume that we want to see them do what they're known for on their individual teams. You want to see John Morant do a dunk. You want to see LeBron do his post a dunk, shoot deep threes. You want to see Steph shoot threes and so on and so forth. But to go back to what I said about what Kobe said in an interview that they brought up about this situation, if all the best players are in the world are on the floor, the so-called best players in the world, active, why wouldn't they want to play against each other to show the world that, yeah, he ain't that good when it's five good players against five good players? Or I'm gonna show you that I can take him to the hole, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's what's missing is the fact that we're not entertained by watching you let John Morant go from half court unguarded, uncontested, and do a 360 dunk. before I gained all the weight, I could do a 360 dunk. That wasn't spectacular. What spectacular would have been is him coming down the lane and the 7-footer was trying to block a shot, and he did it. Now, I get it. You don't want to get hurt by an inconsequential game, but this is part of why you make all the money, in my opinion. Go deep.
I mean, and I think what you're touching on right there is what the issue we have. And so, it was a rite of passage in the 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, late 90s, and even the 2000s. It was a rite of passage for some of these guys to make the All Star game. They had stuff, incentives in their contracts that if they made the All Star game, they would get money and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the contests, the slam dunk contest, the thing as a kid for me growing up, we used to turn into the superstation. Everybody know that's Channel 17 here in Atlanta, on regular television then. And we used to tune in just to see the slam dunk contest because we knew we got to see Michael Jordan, Donnie, Sport Williams, Clyde Drexler, a host of others that we didn't always get to see participate. And they were playing for notoriety and they were playing for a shoe deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm a shoe guy. I love kicks. So I always used to watch the game just to see what shoes they had on. You see what I'm saying?
That's
The
right.
same thing. We knew Larry Bird at the time. Larry Bird was the reigning defending 3-point champ. The drama came in, was anybody going to beat Larry Bird? I want to say if I'm correct, Larry Bird skipped won like 3 in a row one time. I
3 in a
remember him.
row, then Craig Hodges beat him.
Yeah, I remember he putting up the hands, shooting the three, and turned around and walked off, and he knocked net bottom. You knew it was going in.
Exactly.
Those are some of the things we're used to seeing, and they have done certain things to try to get interest. In I think the NBA All Star, they do a great job with some of that stuff. That slam dunk test has been a trash event for I want to say the last 5 years. They brought a little bit back with people. Uh, we don't see, we don't know, but it's like she said, Soldier Girl said, it's watered down because LeBron James ain't never got in it. He promised Magic 1 year that he was gonna do it, never did it. You got the John Morants, you got the Zion Williamsons, you have these guys, and now that they have already getting paid all this money, that's what you see in some of these contests. I won't skip to touch on the game before I give mine, but yeah, that's just on that night. We had more excitement the Rising Star game where we did see some of the Rising Stars come up. You know what I'm saying? You see the guy that plays for New Orleans, he out of Georgia Tech, hitting a big game shot. He was mic'd up. To see some of these other guys, I don't have no problem. It used to be the freshman versus sophomore game. That's
Yes.
what it used to be, and they
That's when it was
changed.
competitive. Yeah.
Hmm.
And you got to see. I remember Skip. You had Carmelo, D Wade, and LeBron on the team, and they played against. No, D Wade was yeah.
It was the year
Them three.
before. No,
Yeah, it was a year before. Wait a minute, because D Wade won. No, D Wade won the championship before LeBron. So all of them came out in the same draft, but
gotcha.
all of them was on the team, and they played against the stars. They already had 1 year NBA experience, and I think LeBron them beat them. That's why I
Yeah.
said it's a lot that we get to see and we miss. But go to the game. That's what
Well,
we were
see,
trying to touch on.
the one thing about what you said about that was that freshman against sophomores, that was actually when they started to try to bring more attention back to the festivities on All-Star weekend. Because it used to be the rookie game and then All-Star game. You know, then Saturday was the dunk contest, 3-point contest, of course. But like I said earlier, when the best in the world, which are the guys in the NBA, there's no league better anywhere, get chosen to be an All-Star game or voted in by the fans want to see them play their hearts out. Now, again, like I said, I get it that contracts won't allow you to get hurt. You'll lose money if you get hurt, blah, 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 blah. But if you're not going to, in my opinion, if you're not going to give the fans a show, you don't have to go out there and play lockdown defense, but at least make them struggle to score. You know, at least make the game a little bit competitive. It's not a pickup game. Well, pickup games are really rough, but in my opinion, that's what it should be. It should be a pickup game. Don't come in this hole, shoot your jumper, do your little spin moves, be fantastic. But the games now it's more of a diva show than a basketball game. LeBron shooting from 3/4 court, Big Game Dame shooting from shit the other free throw line, or damn near the other 3-point line, damn near. But that's what Dame is known for, doing that. LeBron is not. LeBron is known for getting people in the game, doing a spectacular dunk here and there. Ja did 360 dunk, which was unimpressive. You know, the 3-point contest. Julius Randle was in the 3-point shooting contest. And it's easy for me to say this sitting down. But before I gained this weight, I could shoot my ass off. And I bet you I could shoot better than Julius Randle from 3. There was nobody else in the league that they could have put in his place. That's the stupid part. That's the, man, I don't think I want to watch this shit no more part. That's where that comes from. You made a couple of threes during the season, now all of a sudden you got range. No, you're good from 14 foot out. That's it. Every now and then you get lucky like Shaq did and hit a 3, and now you think you can shoot better than everybody on the planet. This is the part of the NBA where the commissioner has to come up with something engaging, something that'll grab attention and make people say, oh, boy, I can't wait till tomorrow. Man, you heard that LeBron, I think it should be one-on-ones. If you're going to water it down like that, do some one-on-ones.
Well, I mean,
who do you want to see do a one-on-one out of the all-stars that's there?
Well, I mean, we've seen, like I said a second ago, and like we talked about last week or the week before, the NFL brought in all these skill challenges, and they had like the kick-tack-toe with the kickers playing tic-tac-toe or some shit. They made it fun for the people at home again. And I think you're onto something with the one-on-ones there, Skip.
See, because in a one-on-one setting, Kobe, I know you're a bad motherfucker, but you're going to shoot a jumper. You see what I'm saying? Now I got to play you because my rep on the line a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think the outcome of the game will be a big determining factor, but the fact that I showed you I can stop you, and okay, we're going to let it go. Now you go ahead, you got the lead, so you win, is more. It would be better for me. I would be better suited to see that than to see what I saw this weekend. Mr. said, why nobody complains when Steph Curry shoots from the stands? Soldier Girl answered the question before I could even get it. Because he make them motherfuckers. That's just it. And he make them consistently. And Damon Lillard, he makes the motherfuckers. Makes them consistently. He's just not as big time as Steph because he don't shoot them as much as Steph does. So, yeah. But go ahead, D. I'm sorry, I'm taking all the time.
Just like the 3-point contest, I remember, I don't know if it's the same criteria. Kev, it used to be about your percentage, your 3-point percentage, how you would get a chance to get in this contest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how some of these guys get in. I just didn't think he's going to come to the point that even though we know Steph was hurt, Clay situation, we know the shooters, we know who they are. I don't know if they're giving another chance for these guys, but I just go back to what we said. The dominant players of some of this other eras, they took pride in, I'm this, you want to come beat me to take this. It ain't going to be no, I win this year, then I go sit down, I want to defend my title, I want to do whatever. Like I said, now I just think it's corporate to them. It's got to be a money grab to them. The skills position, the skills challenge. I like that because at least it do show, hey, can they make, I remember one year, one of them couldn't even make a bounce pass. You know what I'm saying? Into the dummy or whatever. And that's more competitive to me than the dunk contest at one point. Yeah, we got all this hoopla because this young gentleman was out, he got 350s. You know what I'm saying? But look how it was contested. Look how it was. Nobody's like, hey, we know XYZ is in the slam dunk contest. We got to get home and watch it. I remember we had to be home at a certain time so we could see this. Now it's like, duh, the game itself, I agree with Skip on one instance. They need to do it like hockey's all-star game. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty and you got that one goalie versus that best scorer, and they do what is it called? Ken, what is it called?
Sudden death.
The one-on-one that is just
the sudden death.
Yeah, so now we got your best offensive player going against their defensive stopper all-star to see who wins this game if it comes down to that. That's why I think too, Skip, they changed the format to now this drafting. So this is the first year we did a live draft. I think it was staged in my opinion because these people had jerseys already ready for particular players going well. And Giannis messed it up because he picked somebody and he one
before we're
time.
supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. So he up there scratching his head, but it was interesting for them to do that. And you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, the reason they doing that also, Kev, because one league will be more stacked than the other one.
Hmm.
Because the West at the time when they changed this, the West had all the all-stars at one
Exactly.
time. So everybody wouldn't get in. So they went to this format because Damian Lillard used to be a snub every damn year when it was the old format because he couldn't get in.
Hmm.
Now with this format, it works. Anthony Edwards shouldn't have been a substitute. Anthony Edwards should have went in the All-Star game. He shouldn't have been an injury substitute. Because some of them guys that did play last night, they were injury substitute for KD, Steph Curry, and whoever else we had injured they couldn't get in. Some of these guys didn't get in.
See, you said many answers important there. First off, somebody just texted me and said they wanted to come on the chat. The stream, the link is in the chat, guys, girls, whoever it was. I can't see your name, but y'all just click on it, man, and our host will get you all set up to bring you on. Back to what you just said, D. A lot of these contracts, these big guys' contracts, they get bonuses and extra pay when they make the All-Star team.
Mm-hmm.
It pisses me off when a guy makes the All-Star team and then decides not to play. I feel like that should be a stipulation. If you make the team, get voted in or whatever, and you're not actually hurt, you were playing the game before an All-Star break, and you don't play an All-Star break, then you lose whatever bonuses that you would have gotten. Because I use this as a comparison, because not because I don't like dude, but Michael Jordan, his last 2 years in Washington, did not deserve to be an All-Star game. Nothing he did outside of his name made him qualify for an All-Star game. But he was there. He wasn't voted a starter on the last one, but Vince Carter gave up his starting position for Mike. It's documented. Hey, man, you going to start? He said, no, they didn't vote me. So he said, man, it's your last one. You're going to walk out. They're going to call you out. You're going to get your flowers before you go. Understandable. But I feel like these guys got all this money, all this power, all of this pull. Blasphemy. Shut up. All of this pull with these All-Star games and how they just drop their contracts. Who was it, D? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody was, I don't know if it was football for the Pro Bowl or the All-Star game, but one player got $2 million because he made the Pro Bowl, or was it the All-Star game?
That's all football. That's what football do to you.
Yeah. And then
That's
now it's a flag football, rightfully so, because you can get hurt there. Sean Taylor proved that way back. You know what I mean? So, but with NBA, man, go ahead, D.
But again, even if we compare the two, do you remember when the Pro Bowl was played? That's why Dion was so upset. They played for money for one team. So this team, let's say this team, I'm just throwing out a number. This team gonna get 100,000. The other team gonna get 50,000. That's each player gets that. You got some players on these teams, like the guy we were discussing about the slam dunk contest. His contract is $100,000. He made 106,000 just in the slam dunk contest. Like I said, these are rites of passage for some of the kids, some of the fans that don't know some of these players. We don't get to see everybody on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like we see on the East Coast and vice versa. So now it's your time to shine. And then when you have some of the commentators say, oh, he's not a superstar yet. Oh, he's not this. He hasn't ascended to that level. These are the stages that you get on and you show your skill set against the best if they play in the game. I seen Denver coach who was coaching one of the teams, and he said this is one of the worst All-Star games he's ever been a part of. You know why? Because they out there playing with each other. Jaylen Brown, kudos to that young man. He came out with a mask on, has a broken bone in his face, and he played.
Yes,
and
he did.
represented well.
Yes, he did.
That's dedication.
Now, your boy dropped them threes on his ass, but still.
Yeah, but still.
He went out there to play.
You know what I'm saying? He came out there, and you know what I'm saying? But again, lackluster defensive player. They was playing for real. Would he have hit them threes?
No.
Like that?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Coach wouldn't allow that.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's talk about the actual game and the scoring itself. This is the what third or fourth? No, shit, it's like the fifth or sixth year we've had LeBron putting one of these teams together.
Well, that's the fans' vote. The fans get to
So the
vote the two
fans
cap.
vote these.
Whichever one from the East and the West get the most votes, they are the ones that do the picking of the teams
Okay.
from the people that were voted in.
So in order to kind of revamp it, should it go back to something? I mean, maybe something the NFL put or the NBA puts in place. I
No,
don't know. You take the guy who's got the most points scored so far in the season.
it's too easy to do that because you have people shooting volume shots. Matter of fact, there's only three people that score more than LeBron. That's Steph. Matter of fact, Steph don't average more than LeBron. It's Giannis,
Luca leading the league in
Luca.
scoring.
It's one more. I want to say it might be Harden.
Okay, so it'd basically be about the same folks who have been
Right.
doing it because
The
it was
fans get
Durant and LeBron the last
right.
Well, it's
2 years.
it's a fan vote. It's a fan vote with the starters. After the starters get voted in, or whoever they get out of those players, then it becomes a coaching and players who pick a pool of who they believe to be in the All Star.
Right.
Far as the reserves, that's what it comes. You can basically narrow it down if you're paying attention. Oh, that guy's playing at All Star level. We'll see him in the All Star game. You just went away because one year we had the whole Boston Celtics team with Kevin Garnett, all of them was on the bench at one time. That was their bench with the starters. The same thing happened with that Laker team one year. You had the whole starting five of the Lakers down there on the bench outside of Shaq starting. You had the rest of them on the bench along with the other little sprinkling in of other players. That's why they got away from this format. That's why, I don't have a problem with now you see Jalen Brown playing on this team and Jason Tatum was playing on another team and they teammates. You see what I'm saying? That format is not no problem. But play basketball. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all playing for this charity here and that charity there. That's good. Now I do like the fact they took the scoreboard down so they actually don't know what the points is. They playing it by quarters. And then whoever gets this, they get the 24 COVID points or however it goes to put them over the top. That's kind of cool. But they just out there playing. Well, they was out there playing like we playing backyard 21. We just pick up the rock
Yeah.
shoot. Right?
Yeah.
If you hit
Well,
a
hey
three, I'm
fellas,
coming back.
give me a final point on this All Star weekend. We're gonna move it on along. You got anything left to add on it?
Other than that, man, I give it a 7 out of 10. And that's what I'm saying for the whole, not the game,
Oh,
the
okay.
whole weekend, the whole weekend. Because the dunk contest was the highlight.
Right. And then Dame showed out in the 3-point contest too, but
Mhm.
everybody else was just in the fucking way pretty much. But I would say because of how unimpressive the All-Star game was, I'd say a 5. And the reason I say 5, if enough people were to say that and make that claim, then they change some shit. Everybody, even former players, are looking at it like, what the fuck are y'all doing? That's not entertainment. That's not why you're here. So yeah, I think I'd say 5.
There you go, there you go. Well, congratulations to Damian Lillard for winning the 3-point contest and Mac McClung for winning the dunk contest. All right, we are still gonna stay in the NBA. Just a quick question to ask, man. So trades. I know this is something that D thinks a lot about. Right now, are they hurting the just the NBA as a whole? Are they hurting? Are they doing good? What do you think? 'Cause we've seen a lot of big trades go on in the last couple of months, a couple of weeks, really, because the deadline was on the 9th, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was the last 3 days before the deadline when it just picked up real heavy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I see if Skip agrees with me. Out of the three major leagues, football, baseball, and basketball, the NBA is the only one where some of the players control their fate. You can walk in the office the next day, hey, I want to be traded, and now they're trying to make a deal for you. And it's a players' league now. Because you got to think about it. For years, every team in any major sports has control over your rights. They can move you any day of the week. NBA, hey, does it hurt? At one point, we said the league was getting watered down because all these super teams were being put together in certain instances, and these guys were making it an easy way. I grew up on, we had a superstar player on each team. We knew who the scorer was. We knew whatever. We had the Lakers had their team. The Celtics had their team. 76ers. The Hawks had a good team. The
The
Bulls
Knicks
had a
even had
good
one
team.
back then. The Knicks even had a
So
good team back then.
the Knicks had a good team. I'm just going down the list. So
Right.
now it's like, to me, I want to see them move around and do things like that. But it's just the way the things go about.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're in a social media age. What did we know these things probably going on back then? Probably. We just didn't know it now. Now we know somebody getting traded a month before they get traded. We know they want out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that right there, what you just said, I think what bothers me most is you have these people making these predictions that are just guesses, and the teams are buying into it. These sportscasters and these so-called draft analysts and trade specialists and all that. Oh, like for instance, Lamar Jackson going to Miami Dolphins. Who in the fuck do Miami have to give away for Lamar Jackson? Number one.
We'll get into that. We'll get into
I know. I just had to throw that out there about how these guys are making these predictions and people are buying into it. The fact that Kyrie expressed his desire to go play with LA, the owner was being petty and sent him to Dallas. He didn't. I don't think that was the wrong move for Kyrie. Now I would have wanted him to stay in LA because I'm a Laker fan, but going to Dallas, that wasn't no goddamn misstep. That wasn't no. Oh, we gonna send you to purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere like Utah or somewhere like that, because Utah cleaned the house with all these superstars, which was amazing to me again. But the teams that are small market teams that don't have the money to spend, when they finally get a big market player or a big time player, the capital that they get back for them will enable them to possibly build a team through the draft. Because when you come out to college, aren't you committed for like 3 years before you can actually 3 or maybe 4 years before you can actually, you know what, I don't want to be here no more.
Well, they
Yeah,
have
like a rookie deal.
they have a rookie deal, but they also made it where that team can't trade you either. I believe in that contract. They just can't draft you and you start playing for them. I think you got to play so many games for them before they can trade you or something, unless it's a draft trade.
Okay, I was just going to say, because Kobe got traded on draft day.
Yeah, this is a draft trade. So they have stuff in the contract when they got them on something, we're gonna pick up the fifth year option, you might as well say, or
Gotcha.
we're gonna pick up whatever option before they get ready to pay. But it's set up for the money aspect of it is if I stay with this team, I can get $230 million compared if I leave, I'm gonna only get 180 from me leaving the team. So that's some of the stuff how they swindle them to say, you want to stay, you want to make money, you're gonna have to stay here. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but when you get the small market teams like the San Antonio is still a small market team, even though they did all that winning. But they just won in an era where players didn't leave their teams. You know what I'm saying? Ginobili and Parker and Duncan and the Admiral, David Robinson. They never was in danger of being traded. None of those players. They happened to get the right nucleus together with the right coach, and they won in the small market. Matter of fact, I think Duncan was the only $100 million player on that team. Correct?
History about Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was a free agent. Mm-hmm. Tim Duncan would have been playing for the Orlando Magic when he became a free agent. The deal breaker was Doc Rivers wouldn't let him bring his folks on the plane.
Wouldn't let him fly his wife with him.
Yeah. So think about that. Just think about how the paradigm shift would have been then. Tim Duncan, Mike Miller, Grant Hill, and Tracy McGrady all on one team down in Miami, in Orlando. Excuse me. So it was moves that was being made. Tim Duncan goes back to San Antonio was a free agent. So that's why you said, I don't think we'll never see that right now. Oklahoma City has a young nucleus and a bunch of picks with them. The same thing, like you say, Utah. Utah has compiled. Brooklyn now has compiled a bunch of picks and so forth and so on. So you got to see if they can They can build it. Now, I just tell the men, Skip might want to agree. You want to try to win when you got low ball contracts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And that's across the board in all the sports.
Well, Mark Mister said one thing, but guys didn't ask for trades back then. They did.
Just
They
not
did.
out
It just wasn't
publicly
like
like
it is
that.
now.
What mainstream?
Kevin Garnett forced his way out of Minnesota.
Hmm.
Forced his way out of Minnesota, and he was a superstar. He was the first $100 million contract signee.
The
KG
big
was
ticket.
the first one with no trade clause, and he told them, "Y'all trade me or else," because he wanted to win. He couldn't win out there with Tim Duncan and Shaq and the rest of these guys. So I got to go to the East where I can get with me a team that could possibly give me a better chance than I had in Minnesota. So, when you see him on these podcasts doing all this talking about what they did to LeBron, 5 guys, he need to shut his ass up. You know what I mean? Because it took you with three Hall of Famers and then the Kendrick Perkins and a Rondo to beat one goddamn 21-year-old. Because
I must
LeBron
agree
had
with you.
nobody. But
I
anyway,
agree with you on. I agree with you on that, Skip. I have that argument with Mr. Vincent Bo Parker all the time about his Boston Celtics because Paul Pierce's legacy. If anybody knows, Paul Pierce has an 18 and whatever record on his resume, where he only won 18 games by himself until he got these people over there with him. Um, KG, I remember KG them had the #1 record in the league, and Shaq them would have been beat the brakes off of them.
swept them.
And you had KG, Latrell Sprewell, and Sam Cassell. That's considered in that era a big three back then for their team. For
Yeah,
their
in that
team.
era, yeah.
That's I said in their era. That's considered that's what they put around KG at the time. And they had the #1 record in the league, and the Lakers went up there and dismantled their ass like it wasn't nothing.
That's right.
So and that's what he knew. I can't win over here. It's the same thing with LeBron. If you look at it, KD and all them ran. As soon as he came to the Lakers, that's when all this movement started going to the East. All this movement started going to the East. Now look at it. It's paradigm shifting again. Now we're going back to the West has got all the superstars in it. Because we really ain't got but what? Jason Tatum, Brown. We got a Beeb up there in Harden. We
And you
got
got
Jimmy,
your boy Milwaukee.
your boy Milwaukee. You got Jimmy Butler, if you want to call him a superstar or not. You got Bam and you got Trae Young.
Bam is not there no more, is he?
Bam still down in Miami. Bam, yeah, he just played the All-Star game.
That was Mo. What was the dude they traded? Mo Bamba? What's his name?
Oh,
The Lakers guy.
Mo
Yeah.
Bamba played for Orlando. He played for Orlando, not the Miami Heat.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Bam still in Miami.
to the subject of hurting or helping, um, what do you think? Because that still hasn't been answered.
What
It's
you think about?
it's
Your question is, what do you think about the trading and the asking to be?
I mean, okay, all right. Let me rephrase because what D just got off on was we see these we say momentum, but it shifts. These superstars go to one side, and we kind of get these super teams or super conferences. Does it come down to are there not enough all stars in the NBA right now for it to be even on both sides, or are these players just getting to a point where it's like, hey, I'm not really happy here. Y'all got something good going on. I want to go play over there.
That's exactly what it is.
that's it.
And they got their money. I got my money, but okay, outside of the money, I want a fucking ring, and I'm good enough. I'm too good not to have one. If KD never goes to Golden State, he don't win a ring. And we're talking about, in my opinion, the second best player on the planet. Period. So you have to make the move he made to go to a team that won 73 games a year before he went.
Hmm.
And then they won less games when he got there, but they won the chip. So these players now know they can't do it by themselves. LeBron showed he could do it by himself by getting Cleveland to the championship. They got the shit beat out of him. Then when he got them back there, his two compatriots got hurt. So you know what? Let me go ahead and get me a superstar too, and show people that I can win this way, or I can bring this team back to, back up, build them back up, build a legacy up because we want to win. And one more thing before I let D go. Back in the day, teams were reluctant to trade their superstars for the mere fact that we could draw a superstar in. We, when the free agents come around, I might could get Julius Randle if he becomes a free agent, because players used to hold out back then, but no other team was willing to say, you know what, I ain't finna get Scottie Pippen no $100 million. He was a fucking free agent. A lot of people don't realize that. Asked for his money and they ended up giving it to him, because nowadays you get the team like the Brooklyn Nets. That owner's throwing money around. Phoenix Suns owner, he's throwing money because he wants the championship. So, back then they didn't have that. So that's part of it too. But go ahead, D.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Because now it's almost to a point we can sit here now and be like, oh, we think Phoenix is gonna win the championship next year. Not this year. I'm just saying, when you start looking at some of the teams on paper, you be like, oh, they're gonna be in the finals. Oh, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. Whatever team. Because now we're looking at what's stacked on there. You got a bunch of all-stars on the team, and you're like, okay, if they get healthy, we just said last week. I said, wait a minute now. Phoenix get healthy. They got like 40-some games there, 35 games there. They go on a tangent. They can go 20-10 or 20-15, and they might be the number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that, it'll turn around just like that. If they get the chemistry together, that's an all-star team in itself. You got 4 all-stars on the team now. You got Chris Paul, the Booker, Aiden, and that doggone KD. That's an unstoppable force in the West. Who gonna stop him? Is the Joker and Denver gonna stop him? You know what I'm saying? We don't know what we're gonna get out of the Clippers. You see what I'm saying? So it just things now that we see Westbrook is gonna sign with the Clippers now, so he back in LA. And that's another thing that you don't realize with some of these trades. These big contracts, Westbrook had a $40 million clip on him. That's why some of the deals couldn't get made. But what Utah do? They went on and made the deal, did what they were gonna do, and they came to some type of agreement, bought him out of his contract. Now he's a free agent. Now the Clippers signed him, he gonna get the veteran minimum. Same thing with your boy Beverly. Now Beverly finna be eaten by the Chicago Bulls because the other team bought him out of whatever contract that was, and now he's able to move around. Not only that, has a players league. Once this season over with, those 2 guys and a host of others will be free agents next year to go wherever they want to go. So that's why I end up this player league.
That is correct. I think the Westbrook thing, the LA Clippers, not a good fit. Kawhi and Paul George are prolific scorers. So what's Westbrook gonna do if he don't come off the bench? If he don't sub in for one of those guys? With LeBron, it was LeBron and AD. You don't have to sub in for either one of those. You can run the second team. But I don't think there's never been an instance, where not too many, where Paul George and Kawhi are on the bench. You get what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. It ain't a good fit, but he's a hell of a player. So if he buckles down, I think he can make it work. But I don't see him improving that team.
They were just saying statistically, Paul George had his best year statistically when he was playing with Westbrook and Westbrook was running the show. So that's what they're trying to blanket with that, because we don't know when Kawhi gonna sit down and take him a break, or he gonna play today, or we don't know what we gonna get out of him. Paul George is putting up numbers, but they just need something, because what's crazy, they just traded John Wall back to the Houston Rockets. You see what I'm saying?
John Wall contract guaranteed though.
Yeah, and
taking him around. You got to move that money.
Well, hey, fellas, let me take y'all on a journey real quick and hit you with a little story. Right. So I know I don't think either one of y'all have grandkids yet, but we just gonna.
I do.
So you do? Okay, all right, perfect. We're gonna throw your grandbaby in there. So I know you're a Lakers fan. So let's say the Lakers are coming to town. They're gonna be playing the Hawks. And it's your grandbaby's first time going to an NBA game. You're excited, they're excited, they're cheering for the Lakers like you do, and you get to the game, and the best players ain't playing.
I'm pissed.
Load management. We've been seeing more and more of it over the years. Skip, I believe you said backstage, Jordan played all 82 games of the season,
Yeah, there was one season where he did not miss a game.
and
6
that was
otherwise.
just the normal thing back there. I mean, we see it in NBA all the time. Or I'm sorry, NFL all the time. They'll sit players out, and sometimes it's understandable that's a more physical game. But what's different with these players now versus back then that's made it to where they can't keep up on that end?
Well, it's not that they can't keep up. They're not forced to keep up. We were raised in the era where, in order for you to score, you had to be a hell of a shooter, or you had to have skin as thick as an armadillo. You went in that paint, you got beat the fuck up. That's just what it was. You put muscle on, or you learn to shoot a jumper. Nowadays, everything is ticky tacky. They don't make call. I mean, everything is, oh, he scratched me. Look, I'm not bleeding, but he scratched my arm. The type of player now changed the game, the way the game is played.
LeBron James.
Because if you look at what everybody did back then, it was standard to get beat up. Jordan never complained about getting the fuck beat out of him. What he complained about was them not calling it every time it happened. Then he went and bulked up and showed them, y'all ain't gonna stop me because I'm determined. That's the killer that everybody wants to see in everybody else. I made this argument, and I'll die by this argument. You could take LeBron James and put him back there in 84 in the league, coming in the league with Jordan, and I guarantee you they neck and neck. Ain't no Jordan just dominated everybody. LeBron is right fucking there with him, if not in front of him, because he's 6'9", 260 pounds. Jordan was 6'6", 185, maybe 200.
Shoot.
And he took the punishment. But imagine LeBron coming down the lane like he did in his younger years.
Mm-hmm.
All them big dudes, they probably would have got ejected and everything else. But it would have been a different type of game. So some players can transfer. Whatever. I can't think of the word I want to use, but you could take a lot of players out of today's game. You could take a Shaq and put him back there in the 80s. He'd have been a monster. Now, KG, I don't know. Now, he is 7'1", maybe. Tim Duncan, yes. Now, could you bring a Jordan to the league and he dominate? You're damn right, because you can't touch him now. You understand me? But you play a zone on Jordan and make him shoot a jumper. Maybe. Things change, but that's just hypothetical shit. But, when people say LeBron changed the game was soft when he got here. He didn't change the game. He just wants the rule to apply to him like they apply to everybody else. Same way Jordan did, Reggie Miller, and the rest of them. So, there you go.
I agree. This NBA is, and it's across the board. It ain't just this. All these leagues have gotten watered down compared to what I've seen over my lifespan and growing up. It's just across the board. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No ifs, ands.
Well, since we're talking about across the board, I was scrolling through Facebook earlier today, and I'm not a Facebook detective. Can't believe everything you see on there, of course. But I saw something about trying to shorten college football games. To like risk management. I mean, I think one of the things I saw was adding when after an incomplete pass, the clock will start running once the whistle blows.
That's bullshit.
That was one of them. Another one was you can't do back-to-back timeouts. Just like little things that would probably shave fucking 10 minutes off of the fucking game, if that. But
I'm sorry, kid. College football and pro football got a lot of stuff already differences. They don't even use the same hash marks that they use.
I know. This is the examples, or these are the things that they were talking about changing in it. Because of course, after an incomplete pass on both ends, clock stops.
Well, that's another thing along with that. What I agree with you on is, if you ever been to a football game, look at the time that when they go to commercial. I've been there and just seen them out there walking around on the field fucking out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they over there talking to each other outside the hall. You know what I'm saying? They talking to the other team, dapping up, talking, and then they get back before the damn TV come back on.
Right. But the biggest issue I have with what he just said about shaving time, running clocks are for children. And what I mean by that is in the rec leagues and the small leagues, you have 20-minute halves and the clock just runs regardless. Timeout, the clock runs. No, matter of fact, that's the only time the clock stops when you call a timeout. So you do that because you don't want them kids out there. All of them are not in the best of shape. Then you might have that one bull over here that's hurting everybody that run. So you need those breaks. In my opinion, those 60 minutes in a college football game need to be played on the field. All of that running 30 seconds off, because we got to get the ball set and then you got to sub players in and everything. No, running clock is not conducive for college football because the game will be down to who can manage a running clock.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a running football team, you probably keep the ball for a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
We saw in the Super Bowl. Philadelphia kept the ball for 12 fucking minutes.
Kansas City only had the ball for like 8 minutes.
No. I'm talking about the first quarter. Philadelphia had the ball for 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not normal. They've never done that. But part of their game plan. Now imagine if the clock had been running. They would have had the ball the whole first half damn near. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that running clock shit, you said you saw it on Facebook, but people got to look at what the detriment is to doing that, to instituting that. I'm running clock. Man, come on, man. These guys are fighting for their lives too. They're trying to make it to the next level to get a bigger paycheck. From getting paycheck in college.
And then you got the that's why I'm gonna say me personally, I like college football and I watch a lot of different teams and different conferences because you got to think about it. Kev, you got a team that run the spread offense. They run no huddle the whole game.
The Rams made a living off of it.
So you got people that run no huddle and they like get tempo and so forth and so on. That's why the fake injuries came into play. Joe was laying down on the field because they get something too. This is the first time in the Super Bowl that I see, am I right, Skip? Where the Joe was like, hold on, you got to wait till they get their people in the game.
No, yeah, it's been a rule.
I haven't seen that.
And what made them institute this rule 3-4 years ago was because of the hurry up offense. If you can substitute a player and you're not going into the huddle, then they should be allowed to substitute a player also. But the Rams never did that. That's the difference in their hurry up versus this year's hurry up. If Buffalo, who runs a pretty quick offense, and Kansas City too, if I complete a 15-yard pass and D on the sideline, he know, okay, I'm running on the field now. Kel just caught the ball. He knows, let me get up and get off the field because my sub is already in. The defense has to have a chance to keep up. Not that they're slowing the game down, but if they were knowing that you were going to do the hurry up, then they should have a chance to do a hurry up defense. But yeah, that's been a rule. I know that for a fact.
Well, hey, fellas, baseball starts here soon. We're going through spring training right now, but the season officially starts March 29th. Early picks are for the Braves to be back in the Super Bowl, and as y'all know, we are here. Oh shit!
I ain't never seen the Braves in the Super Bowl.
Oh man, the Braves in the World Series. Sorry. Mixing sports over here. Of course, us being Atlanta-based, we would love to see that.
What's your question?
Well, to go off about baseball. Well,
okay.
Baseball season's coming, Skip. When you're on the screen, you talk about it.
I'm a Braves fan. That's a good one. I'm a Braves fan. I think we need another power guy. First baseman Olsen. He got it, but we need a threat like Judge. And there ain't that many in the league like Judge. You got Trout and a couple of other guys that are, apt to hit a home run every at bat if they can get the right pitch. But we need an offensive threat in our DA spot, in our cleanup, the fourth spot or fifth spot. We need to reinforce our pitching. Got decent pitchers, but back in the days in the 90s when we had the terrible four, people Greg Maddux had a 91 mile an hour fastball. He led the league in strikeouts one year. You know, because he could pitch. So when you do those things like the Dodgers, the Astros, Angels, then you're a force to be reckoned with. On paper, everybody is great before games played. So because they said the Braves, I agree, but I think we're one or two players away from getting there.
Hmm. See, you looking
Um,
forward to the season, man?
I'm ready for the start off. You know, it seems like we just got through talking about the Braves and Major League Baseball
Hmm.
because when your team does make it to postseason, it seems like it comes right back around.
Right.
Being that we are Braves fans, I look at the fact that I think the Braves needed another dominant pitcher. They signed Charlie Morton to a contract. I
Oh,
really
more
didn't
than
think.
95 years old, ain't it?
Yeah. He's he's exceeded to the point where he just needs to be a middle reliever. But they signed him. We just found out Soroka, who's coming off two Achilles injuries. Now he has an issue with a hamstring now. And I agree with Skip. I wanted one more bat, but we need a Cy Young caliber pitcher. We got some young ones. Don't get me wrong. The Braves are built for the next 5 to 10 years to be competing because of how they got their contracts
Yes.
structured. The problem we gonna see is the Mets. If anybody's paying attention, the Mets are trying to buy them a championship. I just heard before we got on air, they're gonna spend an excess skip about 400 million just in almost maybe 40 million. If I'm correct.
Maybe a
It's a
pitcher.
just in luxury tax over the year. And they say they probably will be players in the trade deadline also. That man is trying to buy a championship up there in with the New York Mets because they've been laughing stocks. You know, they spent all this money last year and they lost. The same with I just seen now. Check this out, Kev. Manny Machado. Skip know who
Hmm.
Manny Machado is. Manny Machado done already told the Padres he's opting out of his $300 million contract at the end of the season. So he's already told them. So that gives a clue. If they're thinking about it, they just paid Soto. They already paid Tatis. They went in and picked up Xander Bogaerts. So Machado's already told y'all he opting out because he's seeing these contracts. Machado was probably on his Skip. What you think? His last big deal,
I think
man.
he'll get one
Machado.
more. I think he'll get one more
That
because of his bat. And if
yeah.
he's in
So
the American League, he'll definitely get one.
so being who he is in the San Diego Padres as in baseball camp, you see a lot of these teams try to mirror the Yankees, the Mets, the Braves, some of these upper echelon teams how they contract and they do certain things. The Yankees have to pay, if everybody don't know, they still have to pay luxury tax for some of the smaller teams in the market because of how they spend their money. They
Right.
pay other teams to get the players that they get. So this will be an interesting year. The Braves went out and picked up another catcher, and I see what they're doing. It seems like they're getting players in place when somebody else is about to sing that they about to get rid of them or they finna move on from somebody. But we'll see. I think the guy Olsen at first base, I think he'll have a better year than he had last year because he'll be settled in.
But see,
Um,
Hmm.
that's an excuse because Freeman went to LA and showed his fucking ass.
but he had a normal Freddie Freeman year for what he does. I'm talking about Matt Olson coming to the Braves,
Exactly. But
coming,
I don't give him.
coming.
I don't
Well, you
give him.
got
I
to.
don't give him a
Well, you
pass.
got to. Well, that's you. I'm just saying him coming from American League team, coming over to a National League team where we know National League pitching is a little more dominant than over in the American League. It's been like that for years. The American League has the bats, but we did see a decline on the batting average because he didn't bat over 300. He bat in the the high 50s, lower 260s. He still hit for home runs, RBIs, and
Yeah.
whatever. But I think he'll settle in. The person I want to see bounce back is Ronald Acuna. That's what I want to see.
Boy, if
That's
we
what
get
I
him
want
back,
to see.
that's gonna be a monster. Did you want to
Hey,
answer that question? You want me to answer it? I'll answer it. The World Series is called that, in my opinion, because the best players in the world play here.
hmm
That's why all the Chinese guys come over. There's only 1, 2, maybe 4 dominant players from China that can even make the leagues here. All of the Cuban guys, the Hispanic, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, whatever, they come here to show their talents against the other best players in the world. So it's called the World Series because all players from around the planet play in this league. In my
hmm
opinion.
All right. Well,
That was a
also,
good question.
that was a good question. Thank you, Soldier Girl, for that. Another sport that is kicking off. Well, I'll say league that has just kicked off this past weekend was the XFL
Hmm.
coming back around. Fellas, y'all gonna be watching it? I got a little list here. Just some names of some ex NFL players that are now in the XFL. Martavius Bryant, Ben DiNucci, which he was a kicker for the Cowboys. Vic Beasley, Josh Gordon, AJ McCarron. Josh Gordon, wasn't he just in? Damn, I feel like he was just playing for. I think he came in for
Can-
Carolina the
He was
last
playing for
couple of
Kansas City.
games.
He was playing for Kansas City.
Oh, he was playing for Kansas City. Okay, but yeah, man. I mean, there's some biggest names that are playing out there. So y'all gonna be interested in seeing what happens here?
I like.
Um,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's crazy because I like the partnership that they did with the NFL so they can sustain. They're gonna use this as a developmental league for some of the players. And I just found out today that at the end of the year, Skip, they will release them from their contract so it's able for them to go and try for a team or they get an NFL trial, they're able to go without losing anything with them. So I think it'll be good for that because you have so many players. We have other major sports, baseball, basketball, that have a farm system like you got
Developmental.
in
Yeah,
baseball.
development.
You
Yeah.
got a developmental league, G League, or whatever league you want to call it in the NBA. And I do believe the NFL needs one because think how many players what we got 500 players that come into the league every year
Yep.
trying to vie for a spot, even in the draft. All these kids don't get a chance to get drafted. Some of them are, tryouts and so forth. And this is a place where a place where they can hone their skills or get some more reps or get whatever they want to get
Hmm.
that they probably wouldn't get any other chance.
Right. The developmental league for the NFL used to be in Germany. I know this for a fact because everybody used to go to Germany and play in their league over there, and it was not the same time as the NFL's, just like this one was.
Hmm.
Um, the one thing I like about the XFL is what D hit on was that at the end of the year they get to not worry about their contracts, and if they got a chance to make it to the big show, they can go with no hindrances. Um, what I don't like is these rules, the 3 point play, the 3 point extra point. If they give you 4th and 25, if you make it, you get to keep the ball instead of kicking it off. I gotta get a bigger grasp on all the rules that they have that are different from the NFL. But in my opinion, if it's going to be quote unquote developmental, they need to play the same rules.
I agree with that, Skip.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
In the same way, so you don't have to go there running. Hey man, coach, all we got to do is back up to the 15 and we can get 3 points. No, that's not realistic. You get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
there's a I get the rule change, make it more exciting. Football is exciting enough. They already taken. You can't hit the quarterback. You pretty much got a two-hand touch him now.
Hmm.
So, but I like I said, if it's gonna be what it is, what we know it as, the second-hand players there, and they're fighting for a chance to show you what they got to be able to go, then the rules should be the same, in my opinion. And it's not that I hate change, Mister. It's just that sometimes change is stupid.
You know what, Skip? I think that's the best way I've heard it said. Sometimes change is just
It
stupid.
is.
Well,
Look at the NBA All Star game. Tell me that wasn't stupid this weekend. That was change. Mm-hmm.
well, some change that could be stupid, or well, it could be stupid on one end and amazing on the other. Lamar Jackson still in contract negotiations. Now, as we know, as we suspect, there will be a franchise tag put on him before the start of next season. But I want to explain the difference for those who might not know between an exclusive franchise tag and a non exclusive tag because this could go two different ways. So, an exclusive tag basically, the player can't talk to any other teams. That man is off limits until the end. But the non exclusive tag, there's a couple of stipulations with it. You can have contract negotiations with other teams for next season. But your team also has the power to match that contract, um, depending on what it looks like.
Right.
Also, if you are traded, if your team decides, you know what, you can go over there, they get at least 2 first-round draft picks.
Right.
So
You
just some
left off
things. Oh, what I leave out, Skip?
exclusive tag. You would get the median salary of the top 3 paid quarterbacks or people in your position,
Yes, yes.
which in Lamar Jackson's case would be $55 million.
Mm.
The non-exclusive tag, they can give him between 20, I think, and 33 million. And that's what they're going to go for. And I'm gonna hold this thought. Go ahead and finish your point, Kevin.
What I was just gonna say, look out for Atlanta in this because they were interested in that Deshaun Watson bid last year, and as we know from this year, they still don't really have a quarterback.
Okay.
So go ahead.
One of the reasons why I think he's not going to go nowhere is because they're going to exclusive tag him and give him that money. And before the Pro Bowl or before halfway through the season, I think they're going to iron out a contract. The papers or the TV, the columnists have it that they're $100 million apart in guaranteed money. Can't think of his name. One of the commentators on the AM show on ESPN made a damn good observation. He said the question was, if the Baltimore Ravens franchise tag Lamar Jackson, what should he do? He said he should go to Cabo and not play. Reason being is because if Lamar Jackson has been injury prone because of the way the offense is ran, if he plays on the franchise tag this year and gets hurt, he'll lose any kind of leverage that he once had. So either pay me for what I've done, MVP, taking to the playoffs, gave you some of the best records you ever had, or get rid of me, trade me, do whatever. So I'm not going to go out there and play this next year and play like I know how to play and get hurt, and now you're going to have me under $15 million contract a year. No, it ain't going to happen. So I think if they exclusive tag him, that's $55 million. Yeah, play for that.
Right.
I can afford to get hurt for that kind of money, in my opinion. But the non-exclusive where it drops 20 some odd $1 million, and then you have a chance to talk to another team, and they get to profit tremendously off of not signing you. No, I would do like he said, I wouldn't play. I'd tell him, if y'all don't exclusive tag me, I'm not gonna play this year. He'll still have his leverage, and he's still Lamar Jackson. And then it'll be even more money next year. So, my opinion. Go D.
See, they got to get this deal done because I seen that Josh Herbert. You see what he always has a contract on the table. If they sign him, it's like
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah, about 290 million and so forth. I think I seen.
So then that makes Lamar's go up.
That's what I'm saying. So the Ravens' best interest to get this deal done. But when you say the Falcons are the rumored team, so let's go with this because I've had this argument about the Falcons. The Falcons, this will show why this franchise is in the situation they in now. And what I mean by that is you had a chance to draft a Justin Fields. You didn't take it. You went out and tried to get a Deshaun Watson. He was on the cusp of coming here before that guaranteed money came because he would have played under the contract that he already had. Now, are you going to commit almost $300 million to that quarterback position that he's going to want? Are you ready to do that and give up your future for the next 3 to 4, 5 years?
Yeah, because they ain't got nobody for him. It's not a good fit here.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the offense, in my opinion, the Falcons have is set on a skill set of a Lamar Jackson, a Justin Fields, because of what you see, what they tried to do with Mariota, and Mariota wasn't the man to do that. Think about it, Skip, when we watched some of the Falcon games. The Falcons were competitive in every game. Who cost them the game? At the quarterback position by some of the plays that he was making. They have a running game. They are built to run the ball. They had a tight end, a big tight end that we thought was going to be all world. They went out and drafted another big stud wide receiver. He's not a burner, but he's a big dude. You see what I'm saying? Now you add some more pieces to that. If, in my opinion, if you would have not got the tight end, you could have found any tight end. And you would have still drafted this guy, put Justin Fields in that backfield instead of Mariota. What would you have now? We wouldn't be even having this conversation. So I think it's a disconnect in the coaching and player management department for the GM for the Falcons, because y'all could have took care of this a year ago and we wouldn't be having this problem. But they didn't. Now it's hindsight 2020. You got the number 8 pick in the draft, which we know you middle of the road there in the drafting, right or wrong, Skip. Ain't like you can, unless you're going to move up, but you don't have no capital to move up to get one of them rookie quarterbacks.
But that's the thing. They don't have enough capital to get Lamar Jackson.
Without Morgan in the future.
Yeah, do like the Saints did when they got Ricky Williams. Give up all their fucking draft picks for 1 year. I mean, it's just not feasible. And what you said about the Falcons having the type of offense that Lamar Jackson could run, he can run any offense. Yeah, they're built around the run, but their offensive line is not good enough to have him drop back, do a 7-step drop, and get the ball where he needs to. That's been their problem the whole existence is the offensive line. The reason Vic didn't have enough chance to scour the field is because the offense couldn't block. The reason they lost the Super Bowl is because of missed blocks. Not because the Patriots played that goddamn good. Freeman missed the block. Boom. The right tackle missed the man on the end, and then Freeman missed him too. Boom. Momentum swing. So until they address the elephant in the room, which is their offensive line, they can get Tom Brady back there. It ain't going to change nothing. It just ain't. So them talking, all the rumors about bring Lamar Jackson here. If I was Lamar Jackson, I'd be like, what am I going to?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes got everything he needs. He lost his offensive coordinator, but he got Andy Reid. So status quo next year. They're going to be right back in the top of the standings. They're right back in the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? So I don't see him improving that team nowhere except for his position. I don't think they're going to have no more wins than what they had. What they have, six wins this year? 5 wins?
Mm-hmm.
You muted.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 wins.
Yeah, but I don't see him changing this franchise by him being here. The tight end, yeah, he's going to be a dominant beast once he gets the right offensive coordinator and the right offense around him, but I just don't see him making this team better.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, fellas, real quick. We're going
Commercial.
Hey, man, real quick, we're going to take a second to hear from our friends over at KJ's Mobile Auto Detailing. Why is this thing not playing? Hey, technical difficulty, sorry.
This episode of Last Take is brought to you by KJ's Mobile Auto Detailing, LLC. Hit up KJ anytime. He has same-day appointments available, y'all. Y'all got to hit him up. Same-day rain guarantee. Memberships available. Disinfectant, sanitization services, wash, wax, carpet shampoo, claying, steam cleaning as well. Hit them up at 470-214-1423.
Well, hey, you
Deadpool,
got something to add, Skip?
Yeah, Ms. Deadpool, to answer your question, it ain't like the Falcons are winning. What's it gonna hurt to give up some picks? Let me do a comparison. If you work for a law firm and you got a mobster over here on a charge that you can beat, but you got to do it for $10, and you got a guy over here with a murder charge, they caught him with a gun in his hand, but he's going to give you $1 million. Which case you gonna take? You're gonna take the one with the money. The Falcons can't afford to give up something that can improve their team over the next 2-3 years for one player that could possibly help them win more. They have too many holes they need to fix. If this was a plug and play type deal, like with Miami, they had a quarterback that they believed in, and they went and got 2 receivers, and he was all world for 6 goddamn games. until he started getting hurt. Tua was all fucking world was gonna be on MVP, level until he got hurt. So they didn't have any glaring holes like the Falcons have. They have too many deficiencies. So yeah.
To piggyback on her question that she asked, also, the other reason is if he was under contract, Ms. Deadpool, yeah, because you won't have to worry about the money aspect if you just giving up picks. You're going to have to trade him, trade your picks, mortgage your future, and sign him to a deal. So you got to think about it. If he gets hurt, like situation, he has a situation going on with his knee. He's been hurt the last 2 years. He's not finished the
season.
system. He hasn't finished the season, the last 2 years. And maybe he was trying to protect himself. We don't know if he was playing possum, what he was doing. But when
he came back this year, but he'd have been a fool to come back.
But when you make these deals, you have to think about, hey, what we're going to give up, because now it's going to always be judged on. Let's say the Ravens go out and pick Heisman Trophy winner, Buckner's the best linebacker, wide receiver, all these different picks that's gonna compile, and it's gonna go back in Falcon history and say, this is who the Falcons could have got. So if you don't know, LaDainian Thomas and Drew Brees would have been the Falcons' pick back then when they traded up to get Vic. That's who they traded, everybody, if you didn't know that.
The two picks that they traded, those are the players that was picked in those places.
That's what the players at the San Diego Chargers picked. They picked LaDainian Thomas in first. They came back in the second round and picked Drew Brees. So that would have been on your Falcon team if the Falcons didn't move up and get Vic. So if you think about it, and fast forward to this part of it in the Falcons franchise, what you gonna do?
Well, now watch this. Something you said right just then that really opened my eyes to the same argument I've been making forever. The Falcons need a whole new fucking front office. They need talent scouts. Bottom line. Because the Chargers knew LT was going to be a monster. They also knew Drew Brees was going to be their future. Vic was flashy. It's all the speed in the world. And they felt like, we'll just plug him in and he'll take us to the promised land. Interesting fact. Michael Vick never had back-to-back winning seasons as long as he was a Falcon. The Falcons themselves as a franchise never had back-to-back winning seasons until Matt Ryan. Those are very 100% true facts. So without somebody in the front office like an Andy Reid or Bill Walsh or somebody that knows football, say, hey, you know what? We need to go ahead and get this quarterback because he's a drop-back passer. We also need to get this lineman that nobody is paying attention to. He's 6'7", got a wingspan of 7 foot. They're not doing that. They're trying to get the big names now to plug in the biggest holes they got when all the little holes is the reason they're losing. So the front office just need to be revamped.
Well, Skip, I know for a fact in one of our first shows with Mr. Hemdog Hennington, we were talking about this, and I think your exact words were, until the culture changes in that Atlanta office, they will never be able to do anything.
No, they won't.
No matter what players they get, what coach they got, it all starts in that office.
Watch this. A lot of people don't know this. Brett Favre was an Atlanta Falcon. Now, granted, he was a drunkard while he was here, but he was an Atlanta Falcon. Dion left. Who else was it? They had the players. They just didn't have the culture or the winning or the coaching to keep them. They traded Brett Favre away and got Miller. Was it Miller?
No, Chris Miller was already here. Brett Favre was just on the bench.
They traded him, though. They traded him for something.
They traded him and got some picks. They got a
picks from him. It's one of those things to where if me as a head coach don't understand how to get D in open field because he's a monster one-on-one, then I shouldn't be coaching. And as me being a GM running a team or building a team, if I don't know how to put this no-name player in position to be somebody somewhere down the road, then I shouldn't be a GM. And this is where the culture is now with not hiring black coaches and not just black coaches, but the coaching carousel is like a jukebox where when they get fired, they go right back in rotation and another team picks them up. You understand me? So if they don't start changing somewhere, getting new ideas and new attitudes and new outlooks, ain't shit gonna change. The same team gonna keep making the playoffs. The same team gonna keep looking like shit. And it's gonna be like the NBA. Atlanta is not a small market, but it's gonna become one because nobody will come here until they start winning. And it starts in the front office.
And again, like I said, that's one of the issues that I have with the Falcons organization and a lot of the Atlanta organizations. Some of the superstar players don't want to come here, and the Falcons also need some rough riders. They go for these blue collar type players. They don't want nobody to have nothing in their jacket where they didn't got a DUI or they didn't slap somebody in the club or whatever the case may be, because you're gonna need some rough riders on your team for you to win, to get you over the hump, to hold people accountable on their team. The Falcons, I say again, over the tenure of Matt Ryan's career, in my personal opinion, the Falcons should have 2 Super Bowls. One of them, they lost to the 49ers, or they lost their championship game to the 49ers. They had the 49ers whooped 24-7 at halftime. 49ers stormed all the way back, beat them 24-28. The game against, I take that back, Skip. I remember when Green Bay came down here, the only championship that Aaron Rodgers got is on the backs of the Falcons when he came down here and slaughtered them and went to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying the Falcons would have beat the Steelers that year, but they would have been the Super Bowl. But you're not gonna tell me that the Falcons wouldn't have beat that Baltimore team, how explosive that offense was that Kaepernick them went up against, and this New England situation. So that's again, like Skip said, it's a culture situation that they have. Nobody was held accountable for that situation. You didn't get nobody fired. You didn't get nobody replaced. They came back with the same nucleus of doing the same old thing. And now you hyping the fans up like you did with the Deshaun Watson thing. Now, we can get Lamar Jackson. See, Falcons fans want to come here and party and have fun down there in that dome. They want to party.
D, let me ask you a question. Because I know being here in Atlanta that we always joke that Atlanta sports are cursed, and it wasn't until the Braves won that championship that kind of made us feel a little better. But now, the thing that I always hear as a Cowboys fan is that Jerry Jones essentially sold his soul for those 3 in the 90s.
No.
Hang on. Let me get this out.
Okay.
That he had said, and that's why, that's one of the reasons we ain't won nothing since. It was kind of like that, as they say, the Atlanta curse. So is there a reason besides the culture in the front office? Because it's been different over the years, I'm sure, since the organization came to be. What's been the number one factor hindering Atlanta?
Well, the difference, if you want to use those comparisons, when Jerry Jones got that team and what he did, Jerry Jones took one player, Herschel Walker, and traded him and got 15 picks. Right, Skip?
Yes, he did.
So when you do that, you're able to take those picks and build your team. Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith they battled and bruised years before they got good. And then he brought in a winning coach from a winning college program to set in the discipline and put his imprint on that team. Now let's go to the Falcons. The Falcons have always been what? We're going to come in and party in Atlanta. We're going to come in and have fun. If we win, we win. We lose, we lose. It's never been no accountability. We've always had a situation where one player get hurt, the season's over with. Chris Miller was the Falcon quarterback. He was damn near, he supposed to be the man. He got hurt one year when the Falcons supposed to do something. He came back the next year, they went 10-6. The next following year, he broke his collarbone. He was done. You had Brett Favre on the bench, you didn't give him no shot. Brett Favre got up out of here. We get Chris Chandler in here. Chandelier, as they call him. Boom. He comes in. Dan Reed comes as a coach. He puts his step down. It was a 3 to 4 year plan, I want to say, Skip. Dan Reed, 2-3 years in, they in the damn Super Bowl. Vic comes in. Should have just kept it right on going. Vic is the one why Dan Reed got fired. The Falcons was winning. They was competitive, when Dan Reed was the coach, but Vic didn't want to do it. They brought in an unproven coach in a Jim Moore Jr., and they started going down. Mike Smith comes in. Now you bring Matt Ryan in. They built a whole team. Their whole inkling was, Skip, correct me if I'm wrong, they were worried about winning back-to-back seasons and winning the championship. Oh, we
That's
got to get
exactly what it was.
They
Because
said that. That's what they built it on. Now they went in divisions. Now we in NFC championship games. They ain't never knew how to win the big game. It's just what it's been.
Hmm.
You got mediocrity, excuse me, of what you want your franchise to be. We just want to sell tickets and party. We might get them now, but we ain't gonna win the game.
There you
and,
go. Oh,
and part of that is bench players. And part of that is backups. Part of that is knowing how to sit down on Matt Ryan. Well, we ain't gonna use Matt Ryan. How to sit down on Julio Jones and put in a journeyman that will catch the ball if it's thrown to him. When Julio came out the game, they didn't throw no fucking more. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by the coaching and the culture of the franchise. Those coaches could not adapt to what was going on. Bill Belichick knows how to adapt. That's how they came back and won the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Falcons made a lot of mistakes, but everything else had to be done right on offense. It wasn't just Tom Brady. It was the offensive plays being called. It was the defense stepping up and stopping the Falcons from doing anything else. It was the Falcons turning the ball over. The coach adapted to what was going on, and he won the game. So it's just the culture of bad. They let Shanahan go. Shanahan went straight to the fucking Super Bowl. I mean, damn. You know?
yeah.
So it's one of those things to where you had or could have kept some of these Hall of Famers, and maybe, just maybe, the culture would have started to change.
Mm-hmm.
But like Belichick does in New England, he wants control so he can keep the players he wants, because Belichick never wanted to get rid of Garoppolo. That was going to be the man. He was going to push Tom Brady out for Garoppolo. But the front office stepped in and got rid of him because Tom is who he is. So these coaches have to have what Belichick has in order to change what's been the status quo for so many years, in my opinion.
Well, Skip, while you up there on the screen, go ahead and give me your last take.
We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson. I don't think any MVP caliber, any MVP winning quarterback has had to go through what he's had to go through to get a contract extension. Not one. I get it. It's a lot of money, but Patrick Mahomes got $500 million. Nobody better than I. Deshaun Watson getting the big 240 or whatever it was, that was outrageous because he hadn't played in a year. But we're talking about a guy that's shown you over and over and over that I am the future of this team. And you're balking at paying him when I don't think they have any other $100 million contracts on the team. The Ravens are gonna blow up this team if they don't get this man on a contract in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Because, well, he ain't got no agent. Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. But if he gets the right people in his ear, hey man, you made $5-10 million. I would not play unless I have a contract. That puts the whole ball in your court. Not halfway, not meeting them halfway. They cannot afford for you to sit down if they don't pay you. And that's the bottom line. I mean, it's just apples and oranges talking about guaranteed money. Man, get the fuck on. But that's my opinion. It'll be what it'll be. And mark my words, if they don't sign this man, the Baltimore Ravens will be irrelevant in 2 years. They'll be the Houston.
There you go.
My last take, if a lot of people didn't know, whatever, LeBron James broke the all-time scoring record last week, right before the All-Star game. And I'm just wondering, will we ever see another superstar player in a position to break this record with the longevity of this young man? He's a true American dream story from the time of a kid being dubbed the chosen one to extending to the heights of what he's done in his career. Outstanding player, I'm just wondering, I don't know in my lifetime or any generation after, will we ever see another generational talent as that young man? Y'all be peace, love, and happiness. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Meet us here back here next week. Kev, thank you, sir.
All right, all right.
Mm,
I don't want to end this on a sad note, but prayers going out to the families over from the students that died over the weekend at Michigan State University.
yeah.
Um, that was horrible. 3 students were killed and 5 more were injured. The shooter took his own life. So just prayers go out to the family. D says it all the time. Hug your loved ones. You never know when it's going to be the last. But next Monday, we will be back 8 p.m. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We will see you then. Keep your beer cold and your wings lemon pepper, baby. We are